What's up, guys? Charles here, and welcome back to another beautiful day in Jacksonville, Florida. The first thing I want to do is a little check-in, both with the channel and where I'm at running-wise. So first things first, the last video I posted was a thank you for 1,000 subscribers, and now we're already at over 2,000 subscribers, so I'm not sure how that happened, but it's awesome. I just want to say thank you really quick to you guys for the support. Yeah, I've just been blown away by it, and I'm pretty much saying the same things I was saying in the last video, but it's all still true, and I'm still very thankful for you guys. Secondly, I've just finished up what would be formerly known as my outdoor season training, and yesterday I began my break before transitioning into more like cross-country build-up. So this week I'm not running at all. So I thought it'd be a really good time to make this video, which I've been wanting to make for a while, looking at one of the craziest races I've ever had in my life and sort of talking you guys through it, giving more of a commentary to the race than some previous videos I've had, and establishing some important context that I think helps make the race more enjoyable to watch than it would be just, you know, watching it purely by itself. Hopefully, I mean, this is a new thing we haven't done yet, so as I say, whenever we start something new, if there's a way you think we can improve the format, let me know in the comments. I always appreciate the feedback you guys give me, and I think it really helps me through the creative process when I'm making new videos. So without further ado, let's get into watching one of the craziest high stakes races I've ever run. So for context, the year's 2019, it's my senior year of track, won last season, and up to this point I'd never won an individual track championship in any event. Oh shoot, first things first, the race we're going to be talking about is the Florida State Meet Championship 1600, my senior year of outdoor track. Up till this year, I'd never won a individual track championship. It's just proven elusive in the past, but I was really motivated to get it. I knew I had a chance in the 3200, in the 1600, and we had a chance as a team in the 4x8, and so I wanted to do as well as I possibly could have in as many events as I possibly could have. So the night before the 1600, I pretty decisively won the 3200, so that was my first individual championship, and that was awesome. I'd finally done it, but the question remained, could I get two in one state meet and win the 1600 as well? Obviously, after running 32 and the 4x8, I was tired, and I had really good competition. Teammate Chase Rivera was in the race, and as you'll see, Robert Pedroza was an incredible competitor, and I really didn't know how much I had left in the tank. So we had kind of a conservative race plan. Chase and I talked about it before. We wanted to go out slow and sort of build up, feel how our legs felt, and gauge how much was actually left in the tank before we really went for it. As it turned out, not everyone had the same idea. So we go out pretty fast. Chase goes out ahead of me. I'm hanging back a little bit. But as you can see, there's already starting to be a pretty decisive gap. And usually whenever somebody goes out that fast, my first knee-jerk reaction from racing a ton of high school races, there's always one guy at the state meet that goes out way too fast and dies. So there's no point in going out with him because he'll just fade back. So when I saw Pedroza going out like this, I didn't find it frightening because I thought it was something I was used to. And so I thought I would bide my time, sort of sit in like second, third place, and wait for him to fade back, and then the race would begin. Chase and I are sitting side by side, usually raced really close together, especially in the mile. And Pedroza's still out way ahead. I mean, so much so we're not even in the shot. At this point, I was still feeling pretty confident. I knew I was pacing myself well based off of how much energy I had left, and I just wanted to keep it smart and conservative. So I'm sitting on Chase's shoulder. Pedroza's still out front. There's another runner in between Chase, myself, and Pedroza, but he's staying out front for longer than I'm comfortable with. And so we're heading around, we're closing around 800, and the gap is only getting larger. So I think this is the point where I start to panic. So I head out, I start picking up a little bit. I still don't go into the well too much because I think he's gonna come back, but this is my last chance to get a state championship in the 1600. And so I don't want it to let it slip because I, you know, waited too long to go after the guy. But the gap is still there, and it looks like we're catching up. I'm pushing beyond to try and sort of reel him in a more controlled effort, but there's still a sizable gap between us. This is not at all how I thought the race would go. We're about to be 3/4 of the race done, so I'm pushing up. I know if I don't go soon, the race is gonna be over. So I keep inching closer, and Chase is hanging with me, and we're inching closer, but Pedroza is staying decisively up ahead as we head into the home stretch before the last lap. You can see I'm closer than I was before. There's still a gap there, and Chase is right on my shoulder. And so going to the last lap, it's anyone's game. I didn't know how much anyone had left. All I knew is that if I don't go 100% to the well right now, I can kiss that championship goodbye. And so the last lap begins. You can see right as I cross that start-finish line, I put my head down, I grind, and you can tell I'm kicking a little bit harder, but even then I'm still not reeling Pedrosa in. It still looks like he's pulling away, and even if he's not pulling away a lot, the gap is still there. So it's gonna take another push if I'm gonna catch up to him or even have a chance to outkick him. But that's gonna take a lot of effort, which is pretty dangerous because he only has to maintain pace. I grip my teeth, I start sprinting, and the gap is slowly closing as we go around the corner. And I keep closing and I keep getting closer. And I'm thinking in my head, I can do this. If I can just get to him, I can pass him. You can see he's giving it his all, I'm giving it my all. And we're pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'm getting closer and closer, but there's not that much runway left. And then I just pass him right at the end, and I'm able to hold him off, and there you have it. That's my state championship. As someone who has been racing varsity for years since I was just a tiny little kid, I think I got ingrained in my head from an early age that I was not someone who had a kick. Back when I was racing earlier, especially in cross country, my only way to beat guys that I think were like faster or older than I was to sort of tire them out early and make enough of a gap so that they couldn't pass me in the end. And I think as I grew and developed as an athlete, I think that mindset continued to hold me back until pretty late in the senior year, where I realized, sometimes you have to reevaluate where you are in the sport and what type of athlete you really want to be. And so I think if I hadn't had sort of a moment where I was able to recontextualize, I know I use that word all the time, but I think it's really important, but sort of recontextualize my strengths and weaknesses and realize, hey, I'm not that 5'2" kid anymore. I've grown up a lot, I've put in the work, I've done a lot of fast workouts, I've done a lot of core, and I know that I can run fast times in the mile now. I know that I don't have to be restricted to the 5K and the 3200, and I think that's something that gave me the confidence in that senior year race, and I think it helped a lot, because obviously if that gap had opened up and I was restricted by that sort of mindset I'd locked myself in previously, I wouldn't have had the drive, I wouldn't have had the motivation or belief that sort of got me through the finish line and helped me finish strong. So I just think that race has been really important for me as an athlete. I think it's really fun to watch. That's another reason why I chose it. But I also think there's a lot to learn from it, not only from the race itself, but sort of the experiences that led up to the race and help me get through it and ultimately get a state championship and help my team to get to a state championship as a group. And so I think, the key takeaways from this are growth, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, and not holding yourself back to things that have previously been weaknesses. But in terms of race strategy, I can't take a lot away from this because I don't think I raced that very well. Obviously, I was a little on the tire side, so I played it well for how I was feeling, but I don't think I knew the competition as well as I should have, and that could have ended up really hurting me if I didn't have that kick at the end. I don't think there's much race strategy you could take away from this. I think that was about the most dangerous way you could possibly race a race. If you're trying to do it for entertainment purposes, that's awesome. I mean, go for it. I think that's the best way to do it, but if you're trying to win, doing what I did probably wasn't smart. Hopefully there are some good takeaways you guys can get for this. I hope you enjoyed watching the race, and I hope my commentary added something to it. I've said this before, but if you guys have any ideas on videos you want me to make, or maybe races you want me to do coverage like this for, drop it in the comments. So yeah, in closing, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for 2K. I'm excited to see where this channel is gonna continue to go and what happens with it in the future, but if you did make it this far, this is a suggestion I got a while ago, and I've been thinking about what types of videos to implement it into. I think this is finally a good one to sort of start it. I just want to ask a running question at the end of most videos, just to sort of get a better understanding of you guys, and sort of what you guys are into, what you guys like, who you guys are as runners, and I don't know, I just think it'd be interesting. So the first one's gonna be an easy one. I'm just going to say, what's your favorite running shoe? Drop it in the comments. It can be a spike, it can be a trainer, it can be a flat, it can be Next Percents, anything, whatever your favorite running shoe is. I think it could be fun. if you guys want to do it, feel free to do it. And yeah, that's all for me for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.